Welcome to the results video for UFC Fight Night Tybura vs Spivac 2 at the Apex in Las Vegas. In this video we will go over the results of the YouTube Prediction Channels and see which channels had the most and least correct picks, which channels would have lost or won you the most money if you followed all of their picks, and which channels have the longest winning or losing streak. But first we'll look at the totals for this event and who did better predicting the winners of this event, the YouTubers, the Oddsmakers or the Tapology Community. A total of 10 fights were on this card. 63 YouTube prediction channels made picks on this fight night, and they made a total of 578 predictions for an average of 9.2 per channel. Out of the 578 predictions, 358 were correct for 61.9% and 220 were incorrect for 38.1%. On this card, two underdogs won the fight. Jonathan Dennis, who had plus 155 in odds, and Toshiomi Kasama, who had plus 310 in odds. If you had bet $100 on the favorite fighter for every fight on this card, you would have won $159 for a 15.9% return of investment. The most favorite fighters in picks by the Tapology Community lost 5 times. So by doing the opposite and betting $100 on the least picked fighter by the Tapology Community, you would have won $51. The favorite fighters, according to the YouTube Predictors, lost 4 times, and if you would have bet $100 on their favorites every time, you would have lost $173 for a minus 17.3% return of investment. For this event, the odds makers were the best at predicting the winner of the fights. In 5th place for least correct picks this week are 7 channels: 138 MMA, Cody Dank, A-Jive Picks, Lucas Tracy MMA, Nabi MMA, The Ice Files and UFC Gambling Addicts. They all had 50% of their picks correct. In 4th place are Broke Bets MMA, Greedo Plays and MMA Joey. They all had 4 out of 9 picks correct for a correct pick percentage of 44%. In 3rd place for the least correct picks is the Finch Chats. He had 4 out of 10 correct for 40%. Brandon from Santino DeFranco is in 2nd place this week. He made 8 predictions and 3 of them were correct for a correct pick percentage of 38%. And in number 1 this week for the least correct picks is MMA El Dente. He made a total of 9 picks for this card and only 3 of them were correct for a 33% correct pick percentage. For most correct picks this week, at number 5 we have 8 channels: Artem MMA, Baby Sharp MMA, Bird MMA, Bet Slam with Sam, MMA Addict, Pure Picks, The MMA Guru and UFC Thoughts. They all made 10 predictions and 7 of them were correct for a 70% correct pick percentage. In 4th place are James Lynch and Once Upon a Slugfest. They also had 7 predictions correct, but only made 9 in total, for a correct pick percentage of 78%. In 3rd place for most correct picks we have Brando MMA, DFS by the Numbers, MMA Lock of the Night and MMA Prediction Guru. They all had 8 out of their 10 predictions correct for a correct percentage of 80%. In 2nd place is Home of Bets with 5 correct predictions of the total of 6 for an 83% correct pick percentage. But the channel with the most correct picks this week is Kunat. Almost all of his picks were correct. He made 9 predictions and 8 of them were correct for a correct pick percentage of 89%. So congratulations to Kunat for being the best picker this week. And here is the overview of all 63 channels that made predictions this week, with the number of correct picks, their total picks and the correct pick percentage, from highest to lowest, and in alphabetical order if the numbers are the same. For the next part of this video, we pretend that you blindly followed all of the picks a channel made for this card, even if they were very low confident picks, and placed a $100 bet on each of the picks that channel made. As always, we use the odds from the tail of the tape to calculate the outcome for money won or lost. In 6th place is UFC Gambling Addict. If you followed all of his picks and placed a $100 bet on each of them, you would have lost $293 for a minus 29% return of investment. In 5th place we have Cody Dank, High Jive Picks and Lucas Tracy MMA, who all made the exact same predictions. If you followed any of those channels, you could have lost $337 for a minus 34% return of investment. In 4th place, all with the same exact picks, we have Broke Bets MMA, Greedo Plays and MMA Joey. Following any of these channels and making a bet on all of their 9 picks, you would have lost $355 for a minus 39% return of investment. In 3rd place, for most unprofitable predictor this week, is Brandon from Santino DeFranco. If you followed all of his 8 picks, you would have lost $361 for a minus 45% return of investment. In 2nd place is the Finch Jets. Betting $100 on all of his picks would have lost you $472 for a minus 47% return of investment. And in number 1 for this week for most unprofitable predictor is MMA El Dente. He made 9 predictions in total, and if you followed all of his picks this week, you could have lost $509 for a minus return of investment of minus 57%. So a pretty rough week for MMA El Dente in picks and money lost. Hope he will get back soon with a big win. And now the most profitable predictors for this event. In 7th place is Baby Sharp MMA with $123 for a 12.3% return of investment on his 10 predictions. In 6th place we have James Lynch and Once Upon a Slugfest. They both made the same exact predictions, and following all of their picks would have won you $141 for a 15.7% return of investment. In 5th place is MMA Prediction Guru. He could have won you $159 on his 10 predictions for a 15.9% return of investment. In 4th place are DFS by the Numbers and MMA Lock of the Night. If you followed all the predictions from any of those 2 channels, you could have won $247 for a 24.7% return of investment. In 3rd place for most profitable predictors this week is MMA Addict. He made 10 predictions this week, and if you followed all of his predictions and placed a $100 bet on each of them, you would have won $331 for a 33.1% return of investment. In 2nd place is Brando MMA. Following all of his picks, you could have won $339 for a pretty good return of investment of 39.3%. In 1st place for this week as the most profitable predictor is, of course, the same guy who also had the most picks correct this week, which is Kunat. He made 9 predictions and could have won you $396 if you followed all of his predictions for a very nice return of investment of 44%. So congratulations again to Kunat and the other channels who also managed to do pretty well this week. Here is the overview of all the channels with their total money won and the return of investment. So as you can see, it was a pretty rough week for most channels. Only 17 channels would have made you a profit this week and 46 channels would have lost you money if you followed all of their picks. And for the last part, we will look at the longest losing and winning streaks. First we start with the 2-week losing streak. All of the results in this overview are in alphabetical order. for the total losses, look at the last column. These 16 channels have lost money this week and the previous week and are on a 2-week losing streak. Out of those 16 channels, 13 are on a 3-week losing streak. Excel MMA, DC Picks, Lucas Tracy MMA and UFC Thoughts are all on a 4-week losing streak. But Lucas Tracy is losing the most with minus $1,211 over those 4 weeks. But there's only one channel who is losing for 5 weeks, and that is UFC Thoughts. Although he is a bit unlucky because he only lost $6 this week. But a loss is a loss. And for the longest winning streak, the same rules apply. Everything is in alphabetical order and the total won for the period is in the last column. As I mentioned before, this week was pretty rough for most channels and you can see it back here. We only have 8 channels that are on a 2-week winning streak compared to the 16 channels that were on a 2-week losing streak. Out of those 8 channels, only 3 are on a 3-week winning streak, which are Double Vision MMA 365, MMA Addict and Keith Schillen from Sherdog.com. And out of those 3 channels, only one channel has managed to have a profit 4 weeks in a row. And that channel is Keith Schillen from Sherdog.com. So congratulations to Keith Schillen from Sherdog.com for having the longest winning streak of all the channels that I'm tracking. Don't forget to check out all the channels who won the most money, have the longest winning streak or had the highest correct pick percentage. Links to all of these channels can be found in the description below. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it or subscribe to the channel if you find it informative or helpful. Thank you and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.